So I was thinking, we should talk about something that happens all the time, but people don't really know what to say. Like being at a cafe or a restaurant. Not the fancy kind, just normal places where you go to get coffee or lunch or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of those situations where you kind of freeze up sometimes because you're not sure if you're being polite enough or, I don't know, if you're saying it the right way. And it's funny because it's such a simple thing, but it can feel awkward.
Exactly. And welcome to English Ultra, where you learn English through real life conversations. I'm Lily, by the way.
And I'm David. So, yeah, we're just going to talk through this naturally, the way it actually happens. Because I think when you hear how people really talk in these places, it starts to feel less scary, you know?
Right. So, okay, let me think about this. Like, when I walk into a cafe, the first thing is usually just ordering, right? And I remember when I was learning English, I would rehearse it in my head before I got to the counter. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to say this exact sentence. And then I'd get there and completely forget it.
Oh, I've done that so many times. You stand there and suddenly your mind just goes blank. But the thing is, people at cafes, they're used to it. They're not judging you. They just want to know what you want. And there are so many ways to say it. Like you don't have to use one perfect sentence.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, if I want a coffee, I could just say, can I get a coffee? That's probably the most common one I hear. Just, can I get a coffee, please? And it's casual, but still polite.
Right, exactly. Or you could say, I'll have a coffee. That's another really natural way. I'll have a coffee or I'll do a coffee. People say I'll do a lot, actually. It's super casual. Like, yeah, I'll do a latte.
Oh, yeah, I'll do a latte. I hear that all the time. It's funny because it sounds so relaxed, like you're not overthinking it. You're just deciding in the moment. Yeah, I'll do that one. And then if you want to be a tiny bit more formal, you could say, could I get a coffee? Or, could I have a coffee, please?
Yeah. Could I get or could I have? Those are good because they're polite, but they're not stiff. Like you're not saying, may I please have, which sounds, I don't know, too formal for a cafe. You'd say that maybe at a really fancy restaurant, but not at your local coffee shop.
Right, right. And okay, so let's say you're looking at the menu and you see something you don't recognize, like maybe there's a drink with a name you've never heard before. What do you say? Because I used to just avoid ordering anything I didn't understand, which meant I missed out on a lot of good stuff.
Oh, totally. But you can just ask. Like the simplest way is just, what's in this? Like if you point to the menu and say, what's in the honey lavender latte? That's it. They'll tell you. Or you could say, what is this one? Just really simple.
Yeah, or even, what's this like? If you want to know the taste or the vibe of it. What's this one like? And people are usually happy to explain. They'll say, oh, it's sweet, or it's strong, or whatever.
Exactly. And if you want a recommendation, you can say, what do you recommend? Or, what's good here? That's super common. What's good here? And then they'll usually tell you their favorite or what's popular. It takes the pressure off you to decide.
Oh, I love doing that. What do you recommend? It's such an easy question, and it starts a little conversation sometimes. They'll say, "Oh, people really love this one," or "I always get that one." And then you feel more confident ordering it.
Yeah, and if they recommend something but you're not sure, you can say, okay, I'll try that. Just, I'll try that, thanks. It's casual and it shows you trust their suggestion. Or if you want to think about it for a second, you could say, that sounds good. I think I'll go with that. You're kind of deciding out loud.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that. I like that one because it's natural. You're not just saying yes immediately, you're processing it. And that's how people actually talk, right? We don't always have instant answers. We think for a second and then decide.
Exactly. And, Okay, so let's say you order something, and then after they've taken your order, you realize, oh, wait, I actually wanted something different, or you want to add something. What do you do? Because I think people worry about being annoying or changing their mind.
Oh, yeah, that happens to me all the time. But it's really not a big deal. You can just say, actually, could I change that? Or, wait, sorry, could I actually get this instead? And you just name the new thing. Like, could I actually get a cappuccino instead? It's polite, you're saying sorry if you need to, and you're just adjusting.
Right, yeah. Could I actually get? That's a good phrase. Or you could say, oh, you know what? Can I switch that to, can I switch that to an iced coffee? It's casual, and the word switch makes it clear you're changing something.
Yeah, or even, sorry, can I make that a large instead of a medium? You're just tweaking it a little bit. And honestly, I think cafe staff are so used to this. People change their minds constantly. It's part of the job.
Oh, absolutely. And if you want to add something after you've ordered, you can just say, oh, and could I also get, like, oh, and could I also get a muffin? Or, can I add a croissant to that? It's really simple. You're just tacking it on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I add? That's a good one. Or could I get that with, like, if you want to customize something, could I get that with oat milk? Or could I get that with an extra shot? You're asking, but you're also kind of assuming it's possible, which is fine. They'll tell you if it's not.
Right, exactly. And most places are super flexible. Like if you want something specific, you can say, is it okay if I get this without, like, is it okay if I get this without whipped cream? Or can I have this with no sugar? You're checking, but in a polite way.
Yeah, and I think the word okay there is nice because it softens it. You're not demanding, you're just checking if it's possible. Is it okay if? That's a really useful phrase. Or you could say, would it be possible to get this with, would it be possible to get this iced instead of hot? That's a little more formal, but still natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would it be possible? I use that one sometimes when I'm asking for something that might be unusual. It feels polite without being too stiff. But honestly, most of the time, you can just keep it simple. Can I get this iced? Done.
Right, right. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when something goes wrong, because that's, I think, where people get most nervous. Like, what if your order is wrong, or the food is cold, or, I don't know, they forgot something? How do you say that without sounding rude or angry?
Yeah, that's a good one, because you want to be polite, but you also want them to fix it. So the key is to stay calm and just explain the issue. Like if your coffee is cold, you could say, excuse me, sorry, this coffee is a little cold. Could I get a fresh one? You're stating the problem and then you're asking for a solution. It's direct but not aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. This is a little cold. You're not saying it's terrible or they messed up badly. You're just saying it's not quite right. And then, could I get a fresh one? That's polite. Or you could say, sorry, I think this might be cold. Would it be okay to get another one? You're being super gentle about it.
Right, and that word might, like I think this might be cold, it's softer. You're not accusing them of anything, you're just pointing it out. And most of the time, they'll apologize and fix it right away. They're not going to be upset with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what if they gave you the wrong thing entirely? Like you ordered a latte, but they gave you a cappuccino or something. What would you say?
Oh, that happens. You'd probably say something like, sorry, I think this might not be mine. I ordered a latte. Just really calm. You're not saying they messed up, you're just clarifying what you ordered. Or you could say, excuse me, I think there's been a mix-up. I actually ordered a latte, not a cappuccino. You're explaining it, but in a friendly way.
Yeah, I think there's been a mix-up. That's a nice way to say it because it doesn't blame anyone. It's just like a little mistake happened, no big deal. And then they'll usually fix it immediately. Or sometimes they'll say, oh, let me check your order. And then they realize, oh yeah, you're right.
Exactly. And if something is missing, like maybe you ordered a sandwich and it didn't come with the side you were supposed to get, you can just say, "Excuse me, I think the side salad is missing from this." Or, sorry, I don't think I got the fries with this. Were they supposed to come with it? You're asking, which is polite, and you're giving them a chance to clarify.
Right, yeah. Were they supposed to come with it? That's good because maybe you misunderstood the menu or maybe they forgot. You're not assuming anything. And if they forgot, they'll bring it right out, no problem.
Mm-hmm. And, okay, let's say you're sitting down and you need something else, like maybe you need more napkins, or you want some water, or you'd like the check. How do you get their attention without being, like, snappy or demanding?
Oh, that's a good one. So, usually, if a server walks by, you can just say, "Excuse me," or "Sorry," just to get their attention. And then you ask, like, "Excuse me, could I get some more napkins, please?" Or, "Sorry, could we get some water when you have a chance?" That phrase, "when you have a chance," is really nice because you're not rushing them.
Yeah, I love when you have a chance. It's so polite. You're basically saying, I know you're busy, no rush. Or you could say, whenever you get a moment, could we get the check? Same idea. You're being patient and respectful of their time.
Exactly. And if you need something small, like, I don't know, some extra milk for your coffee, you can say, "Could I just grab some extra milk?" Like, just grab. It sounds casual and quick. Or, "Could I get a little more milk, please?" You're keeping it simple.
Right. And that phrase is so useful. Could I just have, it makes the request feel smaller and less demanding, like you're asking for a tiny favor. Could I just get a spoon? Or could I just have the Wi-Fi password? It's friendly.
Yeah. Okay, and what about when you're ready to pay? Because sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, "Okay, I'm done, I want to leave, but I don't want to be rude." How do you ask for the check without sounding like you're in a huge hurry?
Yeah, good question. The most common thing is just, could we get the check, please? Or, can I get the check when you get a chance? Super simple. Or you could say, we're ready for the check whenever you are. That one's nice because you're patient. You're not rushing them.
Right, yeah, whenever you are. I like that. Or sometimes people just say, "Check please," when the server walks by. It's more casual, but it works. And then they'll bring it over. And if you want to pay right away, you can say, "I'll take care of this now," or "I can pay whenever you're ready."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you're paying at the counter instead of at the table, you'd probably just say, I'm ready when you are, or I'd like to pay for this, please, as you walk up. It's straightforward. They know what you mean.
Right. And, okay, here's something I always wonder about. Like, what if you want to split the check with someone? How do you ask for that without making it complicated?
Oh, yeah. You can just say, could we get separate checks, please? That's the clearest way. Or, can we split this? That's super casual, and most places are totally fine with it. They'll either split it for you or they'll bring two checks.
Yeah, can we split this? That's so simple. Or you could say, could we do separate checks? Same thing, just a different way to phrase it. And if you're paying for both, you might say, "I'll get this," or "I've got this." Like if you're with a friend and you want to pay for both of you, you just say, "I've got this," and they'll usually understand you're paying for everything.
Right, exactly. Or, I'll take care of it. That's another way to say you're paying. It's casual and clear. And if your friend wants to argue, well, that's a different conversation, but the staff knows you're handling the payment.
Okay, so I think another thing that happens a lot is like you're waiting for your order and there's a little small talk, you know? Like maybe the barista says something to you or you want to be friendly. What kind of things do people say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's usually pretty light. Like if they ask, how's your day going? You can just say, good, thanks. How about you? Or, not bad. Busy day. You're just being friendly back. You don't have to say much.
Right. And sometimes they'll comment on the weather or something, like crazy weather today, huh? And you can just agree. Yeah, it's really cold out there. Or, yeah, I wasn't expecting the rain. Just simple acknowledgement. You're not trying to have a deep conversation, you're just being pleasant.
Exactly. And if they tell you, like, your order will be ready in a few minutes, you can say, no problem, or take your time. It's just polite and shows you're not stressed about waiting. Or, sounds good, thanks. That's a nice neutral response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good. I say that all the time. It's like the perfect little phrase. It works for so many situations. They tell you something and you just say, sounds good. Done.
Right, and when they hand you your order, you usually say, thank you, or thanks so much. And if it's something you're excited about, you might say, oh, this looks great, thanks, or perfect, thank you. Just a little extra enthusiasm.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll say like, enjoy or have a good one, and you can say you too or thanks, you as well. It's just a nice way to end the interaction. You're both being friendly, and then you go on with your day.
Exactly. And, okay, let's talk about a situation that I think stresses people out. What if you get to the counter and you're still deciding, like you haven't made up your mind yet? How do you handle that without holding up the line?
Oh, that's a good one because I definitely feel that pressure, like everyone's waiting. But honestly, you can just say, sorry, I need one more second, or give me just a moment, I'm still deciding. And that's totally fine. People understand.
Yeah. Or you could say, I'm sorry, I'm not quite ready yet. That's polite, and it lets them know you need a little more time. Or, can I have another minute to look at the menu? They'll usually say, sure, no problem. And they'll help someone else or just wait.
Right. And if you want to let the person behind you go first, you can say, oh, you can go ahead. I'm still deciding. That's a nice gesture, and it takes the pressure off you. You're being considerate, and you get more time to choose.
Mm-hmm. That's smart. And then when you're ready, you can just step back up and say, okay, I'm ready now. Thanks for waiting. Simple. They're not going to be annoyed with you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what about drinks? Like, there are so many ways to customize drinks at cafes now. Iced, hot, size, milk type, sugar. How do you ask for all that without sounding like too complicated or demanding?
Right, yeah. I think the key is just to be clear and concise. Like, you don't have to apologize for customizing, you just say what you want. So if you want an iced latte with oat milk, you'd say, can I get an iced latte with oat milk, please? That's it. You're stating everything in one sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you want to specify the size, you'd say, can I get a large iced latte with oat milk? You're just adding details as you go. Or you can break it up a little, like, can I get an iced latte? And then they might ask, what size? And you say, large, please. And then, what kind of milk? And you say, oat milk, please.
Right, exactly. They'll often walk you through it, so you don't have to remember everything at once. And if you forget something, they'll ask. Like they'll say, do you want sweetener, or hot or iced? And you just answer. It's a conversation, not a test.
Yeah, that's true. And if you want less of something, like less sugar or less ice, you can say, could I get that with light ice? Or can I have that with just a little sugar? The word light or just a little, those are good for when you want less of something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or easy on the ice, or not too much sugar. Those are casual ways to say it. And if you want extra of something, you'd say, could I get extra foam? Or can I add an extra shot of espresso? You're just being specific.
Right. And most places charge for extras, so they'll tell you if there's an upcharge. Like they'll say, that's 50 cents extra, is that okay? And you can say, yeah, that's fine, or sure, no problem. You're just confirming.
Exactly. And, okay, here's a random thing that happens sometimes. What if you drop something or spill something? Like you accidentally knock over a napkin holder or, I don't know, you spill a little coffee. What do you say?
Oh, yeah. I think you just apologize quickly and offer to help. Like, oh no, I'm so sorry. And then, do you need me to grab some napkins or can I help clean that up? Most of the time they'll say, no, don't worry about it, we've got it. But you're being considerate by offering.
Right, yeah. I'm so sorry about that. That's a good phrase. And if they wave you off and say it's fine, you can just say, are you sure? Or, I feel bad. You're showing you care, but you're not making it a huge deal. It's just a little accident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and let's talk about waiting for a table. Like, what if you walk into a restaurant and it's busy? How do you ask if there's a wait, and how do you, check in without being pushy?
Good question. You'd probably walk up to the host stand and say, "Hi, how long is the wait for a table for two?" Or, "Is there a wait right now?" You're just asking for information. And they'll tell you, maybe 15 minutes, or "We can seat you now," or whatever.
Right. And if they say there's a wait, you can say, okay, that's fine, or no problem, we can wait. And then they'll usually take your name and tell you they'll call you when the table's ready. And you just say, great, thanks.
Yeah, and when they call your name, you go up and they'll say, "Your table's ready." And you just say, "Thank you," and follow them. It's pretty straightforward. But if you've been waiting a while and you're wondering what's happening, you can politely check in. Like, "Excuse me, sorry, I just wanted to check on the table for Smith. We were told about 15 minutes." You're not complaining, you're just checking.
Right. Yeah. I just wanted to check on. That's a good phrase. You're being polite, and they'll usually give you an update. Like, it should be just a few more minutes, or let me go check for you. And you say, okay, thank you.
Exactly. And I think one more thing we should talk about is dietary restrictions or allergies, because that's important and you need to know how to ask about it clearly. So if you have an allergy, how do you bring that up?
Yeah, that's really important. I think you just state it clearly and early. Like when you're ordering, you can say, I have a nut allergy. Does this dish have any nuts? Or, I'm allergic to shellfish. Can you make sure there's no cross contamination? You're being direct because it's about your health.
Right. And most places take allergies very seriously. They'll double check with the kitchen and let you know if something's safe or not. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can ask, "Is this vegetarian?" Or "Does this have any meat in it?" And they'll tell you.
Yeah. Or can this be made vegan? Some dishes can be modified. And you can say, could you leave off the cheese? Or can I get this without the chicken? You're asking them to customize it. And usually they can do that.
Exactly. And if they say, "Sorry, we can't modify that dish," you just say, "Okay, no problem. What else do you recommend that's vegan?" And they'll point you to something else. It's all very workable, you know? You just have to ask.
Right. Okay, I think we've covered a lot, but before we wrap up, let me just say, if you're listening to this and you're feeling nervous about going to a cafe or restaurant, just remember, people who work there, they're used to all kinds of customers. They're used to people who are learning English, people who are shy, people who change their minds. They're not judging you. They just want to help you get what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Like the first few times, you might feel awkward or you might stumble over your words, and that's totally normal. But after a while, you start to recognize the patterns. You start to know what phrases work, and it just flows naturally.
Yeah. And honestly, most of the time, you don't even need perfect grammar. You just need to be clear and polite. Like, even if you say, I want coffee, please, that's fine. It's not fancy, but it works. People will understand you.
Exactly. And I think the key thing is just to relax. Because when you're relaxed, you communicate better. You're not overthinking every word. You're just talking. And that's what we want. We want you to feel like you can walk into any cafe or restaurant and just be yourself.
Right. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. Like if you forget a word or you mispronounce something, just laugh it off. People are usually really kind about it. They'll help you out.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll even learn something from you. Like maybe you have a cool accent, or you use a phrase from your language that they've never heard before. It can actually be a nice cultural exchange, you know?
Oh, totally. I love when that happens. It's like everyone's learning from each other. Okay, so if you're enjoying these conversations, you can like and subscribe to English Ultra to be notified when we share more episodes like this. We're here to help you feel more confident in real-life situations, one conversation at a time.
Yeah, and if there's a specific situation you want us to talk about, let us know. We're always open to ideas. But for now, I hope this gave you a sense of how these interactions actually go. It's not as scary as it seems.
Not at all. All right, so next time you're at a cafe, just take a breath, smile, and say what you need to say. You've got this.
You really do. And remember, most people are just focused on their own coffee and their own day. They're not analyzing your English. So just be kind, be clear, and enjoy your coffee.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you in the next episode.
Take care.